Morning, children. I hope you're enjoying your Christmas holidays. I'm going to read you a story today. Would you like to hear the story about a dinosaur? Well, I have one for you, and it's called Jack's Prehistoric Adventure. Jack stood gazing up at the tall and mighty dinosaur. It stood over 25 feet tall and was a complete mounted skeleton. His parents sat on a museum bench enjoying their afternoon rest. They had been walking around since morning. "Just look at him," said Jack's father. "He can't take his eyes off it. He might sprain his neck. I'd better have a word with him." "Let him be, Mike. He's been on about seeing that dinosaur for ages." "Don't worry, Kate. I know what I'm doing. Just watch." Mike stood up and approached his son, coughing aloud to distract him. It didn't work though. "Do you know the species of that dinosaur?" "It's an Anatosaurus, Jack. Its fingers were webbed, so it spent a lot of its time in the water." "I know that, father. I also know that it has a duck's bill and used its powerful tail to swim." Mike turned to Kate, gave a smile, and winked at his son. He patted Jack on the back and returned to the bench. "Come on, let's go. Don't be silly, Mike. He's just a child. We can't leave him here alone." "Trust me, dear. He's in the best of company. The museum keeper, Mr. McCain, is a very nice man. I spoke to him earlier. When you and Jack were searching for that," he pointed at the Natosaurus. "And besides, he's not going anywhere, is he?" Jack's mother smiled, and as they left, she called out, "You'll be back tonight, Jack. Have fun and don't forget your dinner." As they made their way out of the museum exit doors, they waved to Mr. McCain, who stood close by. "Don't you both worry now. I'll take good care of the boy." It was now 4:30 p.m. and the hustle-bustle of visitors, spectators and school groups were on their way out. In fact, there was pin-drop silence. But young Jack was still standing and staring up at the dinosaur. Mr. McCain came up to him and crouched to his level, imitating the boy. "Jack, I don't know about you, little fella, but I'm starving. Fancy a bite?" "No thanks, we're fine, thanks." Mr. McCain raised his eyebrows. "We? Surely you don't mean him. How do you know it's male?" Mr. McCain coughed and rubbed his eyes. "Okay, well, I'll be in my cabin, which is straight down that corridor. I'm going to fix myself a warm drink and some delicious cheese and tomato sandwiches." Mr. McCain turned down the museum lights and left. He said he would return in an hour, but eventually nodded off. "Good," said Jack to the dinosaur. "Now it's just the two of us. You know, if I had my way, I'd love to take you home with me, but I know that's impossible." He grew sad and said, "I bet your world was a lot better than ours." Suddenly there was a bright blue glow around the dinosaur, and a mist formed and covered it completely. "Oh my, what's happening?" thought Jack. As the mist cleared, to his surprise, the Anatosaurus had come alive. All its flesh and body, everything. It stood on its mount and bent its 40-foot body down, turning to face Jack. You're real, but how?" "Your love has brought me to life." Jack was astonished, and it was not only alive, but it spoke clearly to him. Come and sit on my back. Place your hands around my neck, and I will take you for a little ride into my world. Without any fear, Jack saddled up onto the Anatosaurus, and once secure, said, "Okay, let's go." The Anatosaurus stretched up to its full height, and as it moved forward, the museum wall crumpled into dust. Beyond the walls was a prehistoric world. "Wow," said Jack, flabbergasted. As the mighty beast walked, the ground thumped and he left impressions of its feet in the soil. After entering this world, Jack turned his head to see the museum wall reform, and he smiled. "Where are we going?" "I'm going to show you where I used to live." There was a small, steamy river ahead. The dinosaur dipped its head into the water, taking care not to drop Jack. It drank some water, then carried on. The fern trees were even larger than the dinosaur. Along the way, Jack observed other monsters like the one he rode. They were mostly blue and brown crested ones, all gentle herbivores. The beast stopped before a massive river with plants emerging out of the water. "This is home for me." It's beautiful," cried Jack. "Can I live here with you?" The Anatosaurus paused, then replied, "I'm sorry, dear child, but that can never happen. You belong to your world, and I belong to mine." With those words, the dinosaur turned back the way it had come until it reached the museum. "Please don't. I want to stay with you." "Your love has brought me back to life. If I came into your world, they would use me as an exhibit in the zoo. I would be a prisoner." Jack's eyes filled with tears. He hugged the dinosaur's neck as tight as he could, his cheek against its flesh. "Don't cry, little one. If you truly love me, then let me return to my world." And so the dinosaur magically walked through the museum wall, and once in, it stood on its stall in exactly the same position it had been in mounted. "Jack, come down for heaven's sake." It was his parents. Mr. McCain was behind them and held a long ladder. "Don't move until I place the ladder close to you." After some time, Jack carefully stepped down off the dinosaur's neck. His mother hugged him tightly. "I'm so glad you're safe. We were worried about you." As they turned to leave, Jack's father asked him, "Jack, how on earth did you climb up that thing all by yourself?" Jack smiled and said, "That's our secret," and winked at the Natosaurus. And that is the end of Jack's prehistoric adventure. I hope you enjoyed my story, and I wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year until my next video. Bye-bye.